So, Xanxus thought he was slick, huh? Well, would you believe me if I told you that I know what he did last summer? Oh, wait. Wrong verse. Just like the title of the video, let's just say that after all this time, I think we finally caught onto his little secret. Sorry guys, but there's no long-winded intro today. What I will say is that I apologize for the inconsistency in releasing videos since earlier this year. There's been a lot going on and I'm just getting things back together. So, without further ado, let's begin. Xanxus has always been somewhat of an anomaly in the Reborn verse. He's cunning, self-assured, extremely spoilt and arrogant, and not to mention being absolutely ruthless, but the one specific trait that lets him stand out from the rest is the air of mystery behind his origins. He was introduced to us in Target 85 of the manga, or episode 35 for those who only watch the anime, and was established as the boss of Vongola's famed independent assassination squad, the Varia. Additionally, he automatically became a candidate for the title of Vongola Decimo right upon the heels of the Vongola Ring conflict, as he is revealed to be Vongola Nono's son. Of course, we all know how things eventually play out and it is later revealed that he isn't actually Nono's biological son. Nono, while recounting their first meeting, chose pity and compassion in that initial meeting and just couldn't bring himself to reject the child in front of him. He embraces the young boy in his scarf, symbolizing the act of bringing him into the family as his own heir. This led to Xanxus adopting a pampered, spoilt, and outright very rude attitude, and he thus grew with a mindset that everyone was beneath him based on Nono's title. He soon learns the hard truth at the climax of the ring conflict, as the Vongola Sky Ring rejects him with an intense ethereal force. He then collapses under this overwhelming pressure, finally solidifying his defeat. Okay, so now that we've gotten all that out of the way, let's grab a magnifying glass and hone in on the topic of today's video. The Flame of Wrath. The Flame of Wrath is a mysterious power that is described as exceedingly rare and extremely powerful, even when compared to the 7 dying will flames of the sky. Of all the characters in the series, there have only been 2 who were confirmed to have possessed this power, Xanxus of course, as well as Vongola Secondo. The Flame of Wrath seems to need neither a ring nor a weapon for it to be ignited, as Vongola Secondo was said to be the only Vongola boss throughout history to not wield any weapon, and thus fights solely using this flame. Xanxus also shares this ability to release this flame without the need for any weapons, but still opts to use it in conjunction with his dying will guns. It's also been well known within the verse that Xanxus shares an uncanny resemblance with Vongola Secondo, and some fans are of the opinion that they are of the same bloodline. This is most likely to be true, as Secondo was not related to Vongola Primo, and there's also the fact that the only bosses whom are blood relatives to Vongola Primo are Samora, Fabio, Daniela, Timoteo, and Tsuna of course. As was the case with Vongola Secondo, we can assume that all other Vongola bosses are either related by blood or that these successions were based purely on whoever was powerful enough to take over the reins of leadership at the time, with the latter being the most likely case. Going back to what was said earlier, we can make a further assumption that Xanxus is a descendant of Secondo based on these underlying factors of lineage and succession, whereas these are the only 2 people in the Reborn verse who have displayed this rare ability. Outside of this though, should fans still write this off as another one of the series' ever-looming and unexplained mysteries? Will Akira Amano ever give us her version of a One Piece SBS? The answer is no and no. I, for one, will not rest until these mysteries are solved, so let's keep digging with our dying will. We'll break down the deep dive into 2 points, as I feel it's best that we tackle them chronologically as they appeared in the series. If you watched my first 2 videos before this, then you'll know that I'm kind of a future arc junkie. So, without wasting any more of your time, let's look at our first point. In Target 225, Xanxus faces off against Belle's long-lost twin brother, Raziel, and Aldert, the butler. Aldert is taken aback and spends most of the fight perplexed at the strange phenomenon happening before him. Both his Pelicano di Piaggia and his 3 Elefante Forte Piaggias were seemingly stopped dead in their tracks during their attacks before disintegrating into nothing. After careful analysis, Aldert discerns the nature of Xanxus flames as having the properties of both the sky as well as the storm flame, hence uncovering why the box weapons were petrified and then turned to dust. With this revelation, it is here that we as the audience quickly surmise that Xanxus' Flame of Wrath was a constitution of both these flames, or at least something close to that description. Okay, so now that we've established what could possibly make up the Flame of Wrath, we can then move on to our second point. And boy, is it quite the point. In Target 299, we're presented with the aftermath of the Simone Famiglia's surprise attack at the inheritance ceremony. There are several casualties, extensive damage, and just to make things absolutely worse, the Vongola rings are broken. Yeah, that's quite the shitstorm, don't you think? Well, out of nowhere, like clockwork itself, here comes Old Man Talbot to the rescue. Reborn informs the group that Talbot is the oldest metal craftsman of the Vongola. The Arcobaleno further states that it's rare for him to show himself and that it's rumored that he's been working with the Vongala since even the time of Primo. The old man laments on the pitiful outward appearance of the rings, but also provides hope by reassuring the group that the rings can be reborn. After asking to see the animal rings from the future, he reveals the inner section of his cloak to reveal an ensemble of mysterious elixirs, quaint trinkets, and even a few alleged stones from the moon. Talbot is not only very old, but very, very wise. He clearly fits the shamanic elder archetype. He's the one to go to for special medicines, the guy that gives advice on supernatural maladies, the one to fix the existential problems. Sorry. I digress. Apart from the stones from the moon, he makes reference to Leviton's hilt. And soon presents the gang with the true original blood of Vongala Primo, penalty. Now, we won't be bothering ourselves with the rings or the blood of Primo. What we'll focus on is Leviton's hilt. When doing my research into the mystery surrounding Xanxus and the Flame of Wrath, my sixth sense immediately kicked in when I saw the mention of Leviton. So, I did what any other crazy anime nerd would do and did a little digging. And guess what I found? Leviton is a legendary sword within Norse mythology that is said to have been crafted by Loki. But it's not just any plain old sword. It's a flaming sword. From what I found, the weapon was used to slay the rooster, Vidopnir, atop the Mimamather tree, as stated in Norse poems. In some renditions of these poems, the rooster is referred to as a cockerel, and is needed to be slain so that the seeker can achieve his quest. Furthermore, it is referred to as the wounding wand or the wand of destruction, and is said to make its wielder invincible in battle, as well as being able to fight without holding it. Some noteworthy tenets surrounding this legend are the concepts of cunning, deceit, and fraud. If you haven't realized it yet, I'm going to say that all this can be associated with Xanxus' character in the story. His cunningness and deceit shows when he corrupts the ring conflict with his devious scheme of replacing the ninth with a fake, and then having Tsuna take the blame for harming the ninth. He also reached his status in the family from the fraudulent actions of his mother, who claimed that her young son was Nonos. Additionally, we can compare the legendary power and attribute of Leviton to the Flame of Wrath. Both powers are extremely destructive and give an air of invincibility in battle. Not to mention the point about Leviton's wielder being able to fight without holding it. This, in my opinion, is a perfect correlation with the Flame of Wrath, whereas both wielders, being Xanxus and Secondo, do not require any weapons to wield this power. Still not convinced? Quite stubborn, aren't ya? Let's take a quick glance at Xanxus' overall appearance. His design features a set of red feathers as well as what seems to be a raccoon or foxtail. Additionally, the design upgrade of his future counterpart boasts earrings that also have similar feathers hanging down. Remember earlier when making mention of the rooster, or cockerel in some texts? Wouldn't these red feathers on Xanxus' outfit be indicative of that specific part of the legend? Of course it would. I mean, why else would that just randomly be thrown into his design? Oh, and the reason that I made mention of the supposed raccoon or foxtail is based on the symbolism of these creatures and all that they represent. These animals are known to display traits of being clever, mischievous, and resourceful, among other traits. With that said, all this further alludes to the notion of being a trickster. A trickster? Why does that sound so familiar? Oh yeah, as mentioned earlier, Leviton was crafted by none other than, drumroll please, Loki. Okay, we all know who Loki is. And even if you're not a Marvel fan, then you're probably a One Piece fan. To add to Loki's relevance here, we need to look at the character that seems to pop up at crucial points in the series and likes to work behind the scenes in the shadows, the one, the only, the elusive, Checkerface. Now, Checkerface, also referred to as Mr. Kawahira by the lovely I Pin, is the last original being of his species, excluding Uni of course. And based on what we saw at the climax of the Curse of the Rainbow arc, he is unquantifiably powerful and clearly leagues above any other character on the power scale. The reason I'm including him in my theory is because I believe he may have had a hand in several tenets throughout the story and may have been doing a lot more off-screen, against what was shown to us. During the Curse of the Rainbow arc, it is revealed that his sole reason for looping everyone into participating in the battles was to decide who would become candidates for the new generation of Arcobaleno. Our main cast scoffs at this of course, and outright rebukes him for such actions, but we need to realize that some characters may have only been cogs in the wheel to keep it spinning. At the end of the ring conflict in Target 135, a defeated Xanxus lays on the ground and is consoled by a Cervello agent who laments that, everything was already decided, your role in this is over. Xanxus then makes the statement, you, cunning, fox, right before passing out. The Cervello agent then concludes their conversation by stating, thank you for doing your part. Could it be that Cervello had knowledge of Xanxus' true role, his true existence in the world? Well, I'm gonna say that his role was akin to a special reactant enzyme, a force that would help in pushing Tsuna to becoming the Vongala boss. Or, by extension, becoming a part of the new generation of Arcobaleno. Oh, and one more thing. Making reference to the actions of Old Man Talbot at the inheritance ceremony, why wasn't Xanxus present? Yes, we know Squalo said that he wouldn't attend since he lost the title to Tsuna from their fight, but I wholeheartedly believe that the author left him out on purpose, just to maybe throw in Leviton as a small hint towards Xanxus' true existence. Well, I'm all out. Hope I managed to convince you. Do you think this theory stands, or do you say nay? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section, as I'm always open to feedback. And don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, and if you like these kinds of outlandish deep dives, then go ahead and smash that subscribe button so hard that you'll probably have to buy a new mouse. Okay, that's all for today folks, later.